Hey, what's up guys? It's Sher and I am absolutely in love with Matthew Daddario, and I know I say this in like pretty much every episode, but oh my god, his acting in this episode like literally killed me, and he was barely on the show. He was barely on this episode, and I'm still like, yes, this is the best part of this episode, Matthew Daddario. You keep slaying, my man. Hey, what's up guys? I'm Sher and I'm Shadowhunters trash. I can't believe I forgot to say that. I was too busy being in love with Matthew Daddario. So that's still my that's still my thing. So let's just forget that I forgot, okay? So this episode starts off with Clary and Simon bringing Luke, who is terribly injured. He's got poison from the alpha in his body, and he's like, I think he's dying or he's just transforming back and forth. I didn't really understand because he became the alpha, so I thought that meant like the poison wouldn't like hurt him because now he's an alpha, and shouldn't his new like alpha genes be able to fight off an alpha bite? I don't know, it didn't really make sense to me, but that's fine. Most things don't make sense to me. Magnus and Clary are fixing up this like really cool like potion thing, trying to heal him up. You know, Magnus is using his awesome magic, and he's like taking his pain away, which is really cool. And I really like the effects. That was like that pretty blue color, and the way like he held his hands, the way Harry held his hands was really cool, and it felt real to me. I was like, oh yeah, this dude got magic. Soon they figure out that they don't have enough like magic potion or whatever to save Luke. So Magnus sends off Jace and Simon to go get the ingredients that they need because he doesn't have everything at his apartment or loft or whatever you want to call it. And obviously these two boys are not getting along, they're not really connecting, and I mean, of course they're not, because they both are interested in Clary. And as they're walking, I begin to realize that Simon is a lot smarter than I thought he was, and he's more like, he's watching more than I thought he was. Simon ends up realizing that Jace is treating Alec like a lapdog, and he's saying, do this for me, do that for me, da 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 da, because also Magnus tells him that he needs Alexander for like his Shadowhunter strength. I mean, it was a lie, but he was like, I need Alexander to come. I was like, yes, yes. Malik is ruining my life, I swear to God. So when Jace called him, he was like, you have to do this for me, wear parabatai or whatever, and I was like, no, that doesn't mean anything. Alec is over here trying to save what he has left of like his like family name by doing the right thing and staying, you know, at the Clave church thing, trying to like save everything that he knows, and Jace keeps asking him to break the rules for Clary. And the thing is, if he liked Clary, it probably would be different, but the fact that he knows that Clary is bad and Clary is everything that he stands against, he's like, stop asking me to do these things for you. And he's using, I feel like Jace is using the fact that Alec is in love with him, even though he doesn't really know, or at least I don't think he knows. He's using that against him. And basically he's saying, if you're not going to do this for me, I'm not going to be your friend, I'm not going to love you. Even though he's not in love with Alec, he's still using that against him. He's using Alec's love against him. Like, if you don't do this for me, I'm not going to love you anymore. And that is really destructive and toxic and scary. And I'm like, if anyone ever does something like that to you, run. Run for the high hills, because that is not okay. And Simon knows that, and he's like, you treat him like a lapdog, you're always forcing him to do stuff that he doesn't want to do. And then Jace has the nerve to get mad at Simon. He's like, you don't get to talk about Alec! And then Simon flips the fuck out, and he like grabs a knife. I'm like, where did this knife come from? But I think it was the glow-in-the-dark sword that like Alec had, I guess. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And he like takes it up to his neck, and he's like, you don't get to talk to me like that. Don't call me mundane anymore. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Holy shit. I was like, this is the end. Jace is about to die. I was like, this is it. This is it. And then it goes to commercial, and when it comes back, sadly, Simon is back to his senses, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, forgive me. And I'm like, no, stand your ground. You did that for a reason. And I know it's because, like he's, like, becoming a vampire. Like, I know that's why it is, but I want him to stay like that. I want him to be able to fight off Jace and to be able to stand on his own and actually say what he feels, except he's so scared all the time, and I'm really ready for him to become a vampire just because of the fact I want him to be brave, and I want him to be strong, not only for me and the way the show would go, but for himself, because I can tell that he needs it. He's always, like, cowering away from people. And then he also thinks he sees Camille, but then he ends up seeing his own dead body, and I'm like, what is this foreshadowing? What are you trying to tell me? And man, I'm really excited for his, like, plot line, because I really want to see what he becomes when he becomes a vampire. I want him to become sure of himself. I don't want him to be scared anymore. I mean, he has the sight now, so he can see all of, like, the scariness that comes along with being in, like, the Downworlder universe, and I'm really ready for that. I think he needs it. Even though it would probably be awful to be a vampire, I really think he needs it. I think he needs it as a character. And also, Jace starts to figure out that he's probably a vampire as well, so he asks him, you know, what happened when you were with the vampires. So finally people are starting to realize and catch on, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is good. This is progress. And then on the other side of the Lightwood twins, Isabelle is going through some things. We start to find out why her mom doesn't really like her that much, and Mama Lightwood ends up saying, you remind me a lot of me when I was young. I thought I had all the answers. I thought I could do the good things by breaking the rules. You think you're protecting Clary and everything, but you need to start following the rules because, you know, we're losing our family name. There's no more honor anymore because you guys keep breaking the rules. And the sad thing is, it's all Jace's fault. The thing is, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Lightwoods. They're literally just doing what Jace asked them to. If Jace was literally like, we're not going to help Clary anymore, I'm pretty sure both of them would have been like, okay, cool. Maybe not Isabelle, because I see that they're friends, but literally, if they would have just chilled out, they would have been like, okay, you know what, we're going to stop helping Clary, and everything would be fine. The thing is, everything is Jace's fault, except he's not getting in trouble for his own actions. Everyone else is being affected by Jace's actions, and not actually Jace, and that pisses me off, because I'm like, do you realize none of this would have been happening if it wasn't for Jace? So, Isabelle ends up deciding that she is going to stop being herself, and she's going to start trying to act like her mom. So she ends up, like, putting away all of her cute fancy clothes, and she puts on the super long, like, turtleneck dress with, like, long sleeves and stuff, and basically she's deciding to become her mother, and she puts her hair up in a ponytail, like, behind her head, and she's just decided, okay, now it's time for me to start doing the right thing instead of breaking the rules, even though I think I'm doing the right thing. And the fact that her mother is the person that makes her insecure with herself and her body and showing it off and, like, being that type of person is really sad. Your mom should be, like, the one person who, like, likes who you are, agrees with who you are, even if you're wrong sometimes, and yet her mom is, like, her hardest critic. And it's funny because we also get to see her dad, and he's actually really nice to her, and he brings her, like, a cookbook, because turns out they're gonna get married off to, like, save their family name, and I'm like, how does that help whatsoever? You know what? I'm gonna continue to ignore it because I don't care. I don't care. You're not getting married. Neither of them are getting married. No, that's, what kind of plot twist is that? Getting married? I'm like, no, get that out my face. No. Alright, no, I'm sorry. No, that's not happening. We also get to figure out why Valentine is the way he is. We get to see all of these glorious flashbacks, and then we get to see, like, young Mama Clary, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so magical. But you know what really surprised me? They didn't get Clary to play young Mama Clary. And I don't know, I found that really interesting. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't use Clary to play her mom in the flashbacks, but anyway. We get to find out the reason Valentine ended up, like, doing all of that foolishness, killing people, working with demon blood, was because Mama Clary and Luke fell in love, and he thought they were having an affair. Fun fact, these people looked way too young to be married, but apparently they were married at the time. And they already had a kid. There's Clary has a brother who died in a fire, and I'm like, what the hell? And then the dad killed the son, and I'm like, this is literally the most dramatic background story I've ever heard in my entire life, but okay. I honestly don't believe that. I feel like JC has to be about something else, because like literally a brother who died in a fire that the daddy set, I was like, okay, this is a little too much. But basically in the background story we get to see how many people Valentine killed, why he wanted the Mortal Cup. He wants the Mortal Cup so he can create more Shadowhunters, but it's like against the law. He started going against the Clave, and everyone like didn't believe that he was going against the Clave because of the fact he was like the golden boy and like the warrior of their age and something, and it just reminds me a lot of Jace, low-key, and I feel like Jace is gonna end up being evil because like I felt like parallels, and I'm pretty sure that's just me and my like intuitiveness or whatever, or non-intuitiveness, but I was like, yeah, Jace is gonna turn evil. But yeah, and fun fact, I actually really liked the flashbacks. I liked seeing young Clary and young Luke. But what confuses me though is that Luke was a shadow hunter and then he got like eaten or like bitten up by werewolves and then he became a werewolf. I'm not sure how the lore works in this shadow hunter world, because he was a shadow hunter, right, when he was a kid, and he had the neck rune and everything. But then Valentine throws him into like a werewolf den, and you can see that he gets like bitten up and stuff. And then he comes back out and he's still a shadow hunter and he's not a werewolf. And I'm really confused, and I'm hoping that that'll get cleared up. If you guys actually know what happened without spoilers, because I haven't read the book series, put them in the comments, because that really confused the hell out of me. I also got to see Max, who is Isabelle and Alec's brother. And I found it really funny that he had like light brown hair instead of like the dark brown hair and the dark eyes. I was like, this kid looks like a flower. These two look like stars in the night sky, and I'm like, this kid is a little flower. How does this, is he adopted? I feel like he adopted. Time to talk about my favorite part of the episode, probably your favorite part too, Alec, okay? So, Alec ends up getting really upset when Isabelle tells him that they're like setting them off to be married. And I'm pretty sure Alec would probably get married off first because he's the more responsible one, which is why Isabelle changed herself. You know, she is changing herself to save her brother from having to get married. I'm pretty sure that's what they're getting at. But he decides that he doesn't want to hear it. He isn't feeling this, and he's like, screw this, I'm leaving. And instead of, you know, following the Clave's rules, he ends up going to see Magnus, and I was like, yes, yes, like I got so excited. So Alec runs off and he goes to see Magnus because, you know, he asked for him. So he, you know, go ahead and he runs over. He's like, because when he sees Magnus, he's like doing his cool power thing over what's his name, and he's like, oh, hold on for as long as I can, basically. I think that means he's gonna die, or like his magic is gonna die out or something. And Alec comes running over and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, I need your strength. So they like grab hands. What is up with Shadowhunters and holding hands? Because they like lock hands and he starts stealing like Alec's strength, and he ends up being able to save Luke, and he drinks the magic potion, so he's gonna be fine. And so he falls back into Alec's arms, and Alec goes, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, and he's just looking at him like he's so freaking knocked out from using all of that magic. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm just ready for them to be together and for Alec to be happy and to do things that makes Alec happy. Because Alec is always putting the Clave and his sister and Jace, especially Jace, in front of himself, and now he's finally doing something to make himself happy, and I'm like, that's all I can ask for. You know, that's all you can ask for with him. And so, they end up sharing a drink together, and he asks Magnus, why did you ask for me when Clary and Jace were both already here? And Magnus goes, Jace didn't tell you? Doesn't matter, it was a lie anyway. And he's like, let me spell it out for you. I wanted to see you again. And then Alec goes, why? I know why. And he's like, because you opened up something inside me. I told myself I would never love again, and then I saw you and you opened something up in me, some really romantic BS that I will never hear in real life, and I was like crying, right? And then Alec tries to tell him, you know, I don't really know about my sexuality and, you know, all that good stuff, and Magnus just puts his finger up like this, and like Alec follows his finger, and then he does this little smile, and I just wanted to die. I was just like, literally like, this is the end of me. This is the reason I could die today and be happy, because I just saw the cutest thing in the world. Matthew Daddario has the cutest little smile, and I'm just like, oh my god. Oh my god. Like, I was literally, oh my god. Literally, I had to replay it like twice before I could even continue the episode because I was screaming so loud I couldn't hear. But yeah, that's what happened. And I'm really happy. Alec is doing something to make himself happy. Isabelle is kind of stepping up and taking that leadership role because she doesn't want Alec to have to get married to someone and not be able to do things that make himself happy. Also because she knows that he's gay. I feel like that's also a part of it. She's like, he can't get married to somebody. So she's taking up that leadership role. She also tells the Fae that she can't see him anymore because now she's gonna, you know, turn into her mom. And that made me sad because I like him. But yeah, she's basically putting away her childish games and she's gonna go ahead and be just her mom, I guess. Clary figured out where the cup is because, okay, so she has this power where she can take stuff and put it in paper. And because of that, she knows where the cup is. So I'm pretty sure the cup is in paper. The show just gets better with every single episode that plays. And I'm just really excited. I want to know where the cup is. I want to know if Jace gets himself together. I want to know if Clary gets herself together. I want to see what happens with Isabelle. I want to see if she actually has to get married off. I am really excited. And I'm honestly, I'm not necessarily excited for Isabelle's new plot line, but I'm really interested in where it's gonna go, how she's gonna handle it, and if it's gonna last for long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Let's start a conversation. Also, you know, how do you guys feel about arranged marriages? They usually don't work out, at least in all the movies I've seen. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!